Good evening. We begin with the Shalom Aleichem in the Siddur on page number 5. We're on page number 5 for the Shalom Aleichem. And most of us know the words because it's a very familiar song prayer. We've been singing it for many years, and the wording, frankly, is fairly simple. But there's a word that we don't speak about enough, and it's on my mind right now. It's in the first stanza, Shalom Aleichem, peace to all of you, Malachei, angels, ha-sharet. Sharet means servants. So the question to be asked is, what do angels who serve God do? And the answer, I think, is that they attend God. God's important. God doesn't just show up in a room all by God's self. God needs a retinue, an entourage. The same way that a high-ranking military or political official doesn't show up by herself or himself. There are people that escort because this person is due certain distinctions. So too God. God has Malachei Sharet. So the purpose of Malachei Sharet, attending angels, is to be present. And it's these angels which lend distinction to God who are visiting us right now. They're taking time out of their busy schedule of attending God to be with you and me. And that's how we begin Shabbos. So we're being taught that we have an air of distinction and prestige that almost rivals that of God. Otherwise, the Malachei Sharet wouldn't show up to be with us. Page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn now to page number 9. On the left side, the English marginal note, the upper left corner on page number 9, footprints. Yehuda Amichai is one of the foremost modern Israeli poets. Unfortunately, we lost him maybe 15 years ago, approximately, but he'd open a doorway into a new understanding of imagination and of poetry in Israel for the past 50, 60 years, Yehuda Amichai, and this is a poem of his. Footprints of birds in the sand by the sea, like someone's handwriting in a note to remember things, names, numbers, and places. Footprints of birds in the sand at nighttime still remain at daytime, but I didn't see the bird who made them. God's like that. We didn't see the bird, but we have the prints. We may not have seen a certain physical event, but we have the aftertouch God's like that. We may not have had a certain experience, but we have the afterglow. God's like that. On page number 11. L'chon eranen al Adonai, nari al etzur yishenu, nikan mafanav bitoda, bizmirot nari alo, nikan mafanav bitoda, bizmirot nari alo, kiel gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher biado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo, asher biado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo. On the English side. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come, then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. And now we turn to page number 15. The first stanza is on page 15, and then we'll turn to a song sheet. Adonai reigns. Let the earth be glad. The many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Stop there. What do we have here in this poem, this religious, spiritual poem? That nature and the world itself both are looking for touches of God. And it's expressed here with light, with dark, with sound, and also with the calls for righteousness and justice. It's the visual, the visceral, and the spiritual. We turn now to our song sheets. The first song is by Debbie Friedman. It's entitled, "Oh, Hear My Prayer."
Goodness and mercy.
Traditionally on Friday evening we light candles. And so the act of lighting a flame, when offered with hope and heart, is calling out to God from our actions to bring light into the world. Lighting a candle is a different kind of speech. Now look at page 21, and you see a psalm which is associated with Friday night and Shabbat morning. But this evening I wish to look at the commentary on the left margin, the left English margin, which emphasizes a motif within the psalm. This psalm uses the phrase, the voice of God, 7 times. And the number 7, of course, is very significant. And probably for that reason, we recite or meditate upon this psalm every Friday night and every Shabbat morning, because it says, Kol Adonai, the voice of God, 7 times. So now look at the far left marginal note, which is a lovely midrash. And you see these little stanzas, you might say, beginning with the Hebrew, but let's look at the Hebrew and the English. Kol Adonai al hamayim, the voice of God, together, the voice of God opens the gates of compassion and love. The voice of God is a sign of chesed. Next, Kol Adonai bakoach, the voice of God opens the gates of courage, gvura. Kol Adonai behadar, the voice of God opens the gates of shining truth, tiferet. Kol Adonai shover arazim, the voice of God opens the gates of endurance and patience, netzach. Kol Adonai chotzev la'avotesh, the voice of God opens the gates of splendorous beauty, hod. Kol Adonai yachil midbar, the voice of God opens the gates of deepest connection, yesod. Kol Adonai yachol alot, the voice of God opens the gates of divine presence, malchut. The voice of God is all around us. We just need to open our eyes, our hearts, and we'll experience God's voice. Greetings Shabbat L'Charodi on page 23. The first 3 stanzas, page 25, the concluding 3 stanzas. Lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmeyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litila lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lekrat Shabbat lechuvenecha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tchila lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai yadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzai mitocha hafecha rav lach shevet b'yemek habacha v'hu yachamol Allah yechemla lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai dadadai b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Top of 25. V'hayelim shisa shosayich v'rachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimsos chatan al kala lechadodi lekrat kala yadadai dadadai yadadai b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin yamin usmol Shmo tiferotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al Yarish ben Partzi v'nismecha v'nagila lechadode lechatkala yadadai dadadai dadadai p'nei Shabbat nekabela bo'e v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzahala toch emunei am segula bo'e chala lechadode lechatkala yadadai dadadai dadadai p'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadode lechatkala yadadai dadadai dadadai p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Remaining standing on page 27. It's the psalm for Shabbat. And tonight I wish to be with you for a moment. The first stanza on page 27. The psalm teaches us, it is good to thank you, Adonai. It is good to sing to your name, Most High, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. We're supposed to sing to God. We're supposed to thank God. We're supposed to take note of morning and evening as opportunities to open ourselves to God. When you and I say thank you, what are we really doing? We're recognizing that someone else has affected us in a way that changes us. Otherwise, we wouldn't say thank you. We're supposed to be open to that every morning and every evening. And now on page 28, the last two stanzas. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in their God's courtyards. In old age, they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadikat amar yifrach kerez balvanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenovon beseva tesheinim verananim yeyo lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzori v'lo avlatabom. Please now remain standing. The Borchum on page 39A. Page 39A. Baruch hu et Adonai amavorach. Baruch Adonai amavorach le'olam v'ed. And we are seated on page 39A, on the left side in the English margin, a more contemporary version of the Bracha Mario Ravim, together. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night. The alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chalen olam voed. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. And we have a second song sheet. This is a song from Craig Taubman, and it's entitled, it's supposed to remind us that every minute, every space is a source of holiness.
Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you walk, where you stand, where you love, where you praise. All of life is holy ground. Every he, every she, every what, every who. It's in her, it's in them, it's in me, it's in you. In the bitter, in the sweet, in the calm, in the storm. All of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. When you hurt, when you heal, when you laugh, when you pray, when you hold, when you keep, when you give it away. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day. All of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. We take our shoes off, we're on holy ground. We are one people, one story, one tapestry we weave, one journey, one glory, one legacy we leave. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you walk, where you stand, where you love, where you praise. All of life is holy ground. Can you feel the holy ground? Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground.
On page 40, you see the little red arrow on page 40, both on the English side of do not ever withdraw and also on the Hebrew side of Avatecha. Do you remember what defines a bracha? What makes something a bracha? What is it? It says Baruch atah Adonai in it. That's a bracha. The Shema is not a bracha. Chatzi Kaddish is not a bracha. Aleinu is not a bracha. Full Kaddish is not a bracha. L'chadodi is not a bracha. L'chunran is not a bracha. Siman Tov Mazel Tov is not a bracha. Baruch atah, either the beginning or the end, means it's a bracha. And if you see this little red arrow in this Siddur, that highlights the conclusion of every bracha. It's called the signature. The Hebrew term is chatima, which means a signature. The signature signs the blessing. And the signature of this blessing is, may God's love always be with us. V'avatecha tasim imenu olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Haolam. Go ahead. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayom hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'alektecha v'aderech uv'shachbecha v'kumecha ukishartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayulet totafot b'neinecha uktaptam al mezuzot beitecha Visharecha. Considering the commentary, we're continuing on page 42 in silence. Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 44 on the English side. "44. And then Moses, Miriam, and the people of Israel joyfully sang to you, Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam. Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonders? Mi chamocha poelim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh noratilot ol seifele. Your children recognize your sovereignty as you split the sea before Moses. This is my God, they responded and said, Adonai will reign forever and ever. Malchutacha ra'u vanecha bokeh yam lifnei Moshe ze'li anu v'yamru Adonai yimloch la'olam. And so it is written, Adonai has rescued Jacob and redeemed him from the hand of those more powerful than he. Baruch atah Adonai, who redeemed the people Israel. So the Chatimah, little red arrow, the Chatimah of the Michamocha is redemption, protection. The Michamocha happened when Moses led the Israelites after getting out of Egypt to cross the sea. That was a long time ago. It happened a long time ago. Past tense. Look at page 45. This is the Hashkivenu. And if you look at the Chatimah, the signature, English side or Hebrew side, this is present tense. This is right now. We don't need protection that lasted or occurred 3,300 years ago. We need protection and reassurance and safety and watchfulness and guardianship and care right now. And now you understand how the Hashkivenu kind of grew out of the Michamocha. Next to the Michamocha, here it is on the English side. Hashkivenu Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully, present tense. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel. Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The top of page 46. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz, v'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam Tam Berit Olam. Vayom Hashvi Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Veshamro Bnei Yisrael Et HaShabbat Lasot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. In the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabban b'mfrei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala u'b'zman kariv v'meru amen yehi shmei Rabban mevarach la'olam l'yal me'al maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'naseh v'yadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brechu le'elam korбachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'meru amen. Prior to our beginning the Amida, please look at page 47 on the English side. Remember, there are 7 blessings that comprise the Amida. And the first blessing is entitled Our Ancestors. The Hebrew term is avot, which means our ancestors, our mothers and our fathers. And I've said many times in a variety of ways that a doorway into the formal prayer, the direct prayer, is by reflecting upon what have we learned about God from our grandparents, our parents, our great-grandparents, aunts and uncles, great-aunts and uncles. Have we gained any thoughts, any guidance about God from our ancestors? That's the first thought. I think a bit obvious. But now let's think about it in the reverse. We're all kids of somebody. We got a brand new baby kid right here. We're all kids. So what do we learn about a connection to God in some way by being a child, a kid of someone else? That's the doorway into the most formal of all traditional prayers, which we recite 3 times a day, every single day of the year. The doorway to the organized formal prayer of calling out, hey God, it's me, is that I'm a kid of somebody. So tonight, think of what it means to be a kid, regardless of your age. And we rise in silent prayer. The traditional text before us, 47 to 52, or a few moments of silent reflection. Many of us know of the Ashkenazi tradition of naming a child after somebody whom we love, somebody deceased. It's a sign of great respect. Reflect upon it for a moment. We are cherishing the identity of somebody so highly that we bring that person into living identity every single day for decades yet to be. And a person's name, as you know, is uttered thousands of times over her or his life. And every time that person's name is said, the family knows that somebody we love is being remembered in gratitude, in beauty, in appreciation, in light, and honor, and love. It's a testimony to appreciation of keeping somebody's memory as a beacon forward into the future, moving generations into the future. And I'm thinking about our names because at this sequence in our Torah reading, we're familiar with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And those names are dramatic within our roots. Abraham means a father of great many. Yitzhak, Isaac means laughter. Jacob means one who will get ahead. Sarah, princess, noblewoman, aristocrat. Rivka, haven't found a name meaning for Rivka. I can't find it. Some names may not have an actual meaning. Rivka. Rachel, Rachel, she was a shepherd. And Rachel means a lamb. ¿Cómo se dice la palabra lamb? Un pequeñito de sheep. No sé la palabra. Leah is also a name that I haven't found a meaning for. Leah. Like Rebecca, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Leah. First, because of what I learned about her when I was a very young boy in school. And second, because we have a Leah Miriam in our family. And I was very close with Aunt Leah Miriam. Her nickname in the family was Lee. And she was a loving and gentle woman. And so Leah's always been in my heart. And also because when Jacob marries Leah, he does so as a result of a trick, and he has eyes only for Rachel. And Leah builds a family in spite of being somewhat ignored. She has 6 sons and a daughter, and she stands up every single day with a great strength and determination and protective love that only comes from a mother. And she builds a life further and further and further ahead into the future till eventually Jacob comes around. So Leah's always stuck out in my mind. And I think of all these names that we are perpetuating as generations and centuries go on into the future. But now I have to disavow you Ashkenazim of something that you've taken too hold of, too much of an attachment. We're allowed to name after somebody alive too. The tradition originated as a sign of respect and love and honor. Somebody who's died, we name a descendant in honor of his or her person, and we bring that name into the future. But we're allowed to name after somebody we love too, who's alive. And both elements of naming tradition bring forth the idea that love and memory and present and future identity are all interwoven. That needs to be first and foremost within our minds. And secondly, tomorrow we learn of a very important name in our history. It's a brand new name. First time ever. The name is Israel. In Hebrew pronounced Yisrael. Jacob is all by himself. He's in the middle of nowhere, and he's anticipating that his older brother, who's an outdoorsy huntsman, a skilled hunter with bow and arrow, is coming to get him. And he puts his wives and his children over here on a certain side of a river in a protective place, and then he's over here where he is vulnerable and alone. And right away, it occurs to me that 20 years have passed since he first ran away from his brother after trying to cheat him out of a blessing. And we see that Jacob has already become a changed person because he has a family. And whereas 20 years ago he was interested only in his own ego and growth, now he wants to protect his family. So he places them over here, and then he's over here anticipating the death in the morning at the hands of his brother. And he wrestles all night long. And the word that's used is ish, which means he wrestles with a man, a person. But it's a very strange wrestling match. And all night long, they're evenly matched, and they are twisting and turning until dawn is breaking. And Jacob says, I'm not going to let you go until you tell me your name. And the man says, you're not going to ever learn my name. Which right away introduces a sense of mystery. And then the man says, but I'm going to give you a blessing. And the blessing is that your name is now changed from Jacob to Yisrael. Jacob means one who tries to get ahead. That's what Yaakov means, to try to get ahead. Yisrael means, what does Yisrael mean? To struggle with God and man and prevail. Yisrael means to struggle with God and man and prevail. So the man who had formerly been known as the one who tries to get ahead, often with trickery and surprise and deceit, is no longer that man because he's put his wives and kids in a safe place, and he's struggling with God and man, and he is somewhat succeeding, but it's not perfect. Because anytime you struggle with somebody, it takes a toll. And eventually, as he lets this figure go, he's left changed. Not only is he changed of mind and perspective and identity, now he is a man who will struggle with God and man and who will prevail. He'll always come out ahead, but he's now a little limp. He's a little lame. He's not the same 100% vital and vibrant man who formerly was only out for his own interests. He's been changed. And perhaps he's been changed by the physical wrestling, or perhaps he's been changed by the knowledge, the awareness that he can't be only thinking about his own needs if he wants to go ahead in the future, if he's going to become an ancestor. And all that's contained in the name Yisrael. And we are called the children of Yisrael. We're not called the children of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah. All those beloved names, each of which has a great deal to impart to us as identities in our families and as our nation. We are called the children of Yisrael, which means that sooner or later we all get to grow up. And as we grow up, we're going to improve in terms of how we interact with each other and even with God. But that improvement and that growth, it's going to take a toll because life can be hard. It's a recognition of our past, our present, and our future all rolled into one every time you and I use the word Yisrael. It's a cherished name. It's handed down. It's woven into our DNA. We call ourselves the people of Israel. It also means that we're never going to give up. We're never, ever going to give up. We're never, ever, ever going to give up. We'll continue to grow, if need be struggle, always be changed, and we'll always move forward. We rise for the Aleinu. The Aleinu is on page number 56. Aleinu l'shabeach laton hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kgoye haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol amonam Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notesh shamayim v'yoser haaretz umoshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al ushchinatu zo Begave meromim Hu Eloheinu enod Emet malkeinu efezulatom Kakatu betaratom Viadatayom Vashevota elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim mimal V'al haaretz mitachot enod Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad Ushemam echad. Please now remain standing. Kaddish Yatom is on page number 58. And just a reminder, again, we all know this, but it needs to be said. Our shul maintains its own calendar of loving people. That's what it means to have yortzites. Many synagogues do. And we have a calendar marking the loss of loved ones within each family, each individual's life. And the shul pays attention to that. Let's think about that the shul pays attention to the calendar of somebody who died within a family or an individual, whether it was fairly recently or 100 years ago. You see how grand that is? And our calendar this night, this Shabbat, remembers Emmanuel Liebeskind, Miss Rose Zuckerman, Harold Maisel, Lena Katz, Claude Petit, Samuel Smolkin, Max Loeb, Dr. Arthur Hughes, Zelda Smith Schwartz, Sarah Elka Miller, Leah Greenberg, Sam Laddie, Irving Weinstein, Paul Buckman, Nate Reddish, Max Rips, Sarah Gavronsky-Gutlow, Sam Mishevsky, Frida Sheridan, Martin Brookhoff. Are there any other names to mention this evening? Perhaps somebody joining in from home has a name to share at home as well. And we're remembering all of our people from Yisrael whose lives were taken from us, from all of us, and people from Yisrael all over the world. And we all say, Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Amen. Be'olma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaye chon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dachol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach La'olam Ololmei Olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shmei Dekudusha Barich Hu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'olma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chayim Oleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. And we may be seated. I'm sure you heard the words Shalom. We say Shalom and Shalama 3 times in this tefillah. And we say the word Chayim and Chaye and Chayechon 3 times. And you know what Chayim means? Means life. And Chayechon and Chaye, similar word. So 3 times we speak about the importance of life and how beautiful it is. And 3 times we speak about peace. Prayer is not crying. Some of us may be crying in our own lives, but the prayer book is trying to say we believe in life and in love and in hope and in peace. And when we gather together and we're listening to each other, that's what we're holding on to. We'll conclude in a moment. There's another song sheet. It's a contemporary song. It's by Rick Recht. And allow me just one thought because I lost my sheet. And so the phrase at the top is Anachnu mevorachim bilvavot chayavim, which means we're blessing God with the fullness of our hearts. And you have the Hebrew and the translation before you on the song.
We are blessed to have hands to hold each other. We are blessed to have eyes to see the good in the world. We are blessed to have ears to hear the words of love. Anachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. Anachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. We are blessed to have time to understand. We are blessed to have choice to live where we want to live. We are blessed to have voices to sing this song. Anachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. Anachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. We are blessed to have life. Blessed to have hearts to love each other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. Nachnu vorachim v'lavot ohavim. Nachnu vorachim
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you in the near future in person. Please know God loves you. You're a blessing to the world. And we